Hey guys, and how's it going? Welcome to another Trains with Shane episode. This is actually not a Will It Run video because I didn't buy this used. I bought it brand new from the Western Depot online. You guys know I love MKT, and I should have bought one of these back when I saw them originally all over the place. And I waited and I waited, and then they disappeared. And I scoured the internet to find one. I wanted an N-Scale SD40-2 in MKT colors so bad that I've got my friend working on one for me. And he's putting Loksound in it and all the goodies. So we'll have something to compare that against. So, Intermountain. I know it seems like I went from owning none of these to now this is unit number 4, I think, in all of them SD40-2s. I did not pay $249 or $224 for this unit. Western Depot had them on sale, and I'm not sure how many of these they have, but I got this for $200 plus tax and shipping, which for a unit of this quality that comes with Loksound pre-installed, I think it's a great deal. So I'm just happy that I found one in MKT colors, guys, like I said. For the big roads, Union Pacific, Burlington Northern, Norfolk Southern, you guys, Southern Pacific, you guys are spoiled. Everybody and their brother is making units in your road name. But despite MKT and by extension its nickname the Katy being all over rolling stock and even coming in a bunch of sets, you guys have seen those generic yellow wooden cattle haulers that say Katy on them or MKT that everybody and their brother had in sets back in the day. Well, there weren't that many locomotives being put out then, and not really hardly any now. So if you want to not have to paint one yourself or have somebody do it for you, your options are limited, especially in N-Scale. You guys have seen my review of the Bachmann GP40, the newer style Bachmann 2018 release. Very good little locomotive for the price, $80, not bad. The newer Bachmanns run really good, but they are not very... What am I looking for? They're not very rich in terms of detailing. You'll not find separately applied grabs or many separately applied details, period. And of course that's reflected in the price, as most things are. Atlas made I don't remember if it was a GP38 or a GP40. I've got one, and to their credit, it's prototypically correct and does not have dynamic brakes on it, because most of the MKT GPs did not. I think all of the SDs did, so I'll have to research that. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, you fans of the Katy know that we don't have a lot to choose from as far as older paint scheme, original pre-Union Pacific and Mopac acquisition goes. And I grew up in the 80s and saw these big green, yellow and green monsters all over the place where I was. And that's what I love, that's what I saw, that's what I want. So for Intermountain to not only offer the MKT SD40-2, which is my favorite diesel road switcher of all time, to offer it with Loksound, and to offer it at a very, very good price. If you want to go find like a Kobo, something, whatever Kato's custom shop name is called, with a Loksound decoder, you're going to pay $300 for it. If you want to get a scale trains unit, which you can't get MKT anyway in scale trains, but just to get a DCC and sound unit from them, you're going to pay $300 for it. It's tough, very tough, especially if you're an MKT fan. But thank you, Intermountain, for making this. Excuse me. I'm hoping it's going to be as detailed as the SD40-2s from Norfolk Southern and Kansas City Southern that we've viewed on the channel here recently. The Western Depot is the only place I could find that had any of these in stock. Everybody else had them listed but had them sold out. I'm assuming these were a very limited run. I may order another one, but don't hold me to that. So I've gabbed long enough, guys. I'm sorry. I get excited and I start babbling. So let's pop the top and see what we've got. Take out our standard clamshell. I call it a clamshell. It's kind of like a half shell. Have our protective film. Looks like we have something in the package up here. What is this? Looks like we have our sunshades. I'm guessing these are front and rear pilots as well. Very cool. Let's see if I can get this cellophane up. Oh, sketchy, sketchy. I don't want to drop this, so I'm gonna tilt it out. Pray for me. Sorry about any background noise. I've got family carrying on while I'm in here doing the important stuff. All right. Looks like it was kind of wrapped around the back, causing us not to be able to expunge it as easily as our used units. Okay, away with that, and here's our unit. Man, isn't that a daisy? Here's some prototypically correct that I know of. I haven't looked at 606 specifically, but I've spent a lot of time looking at unit 604 because that's what I'm having my friend model. These are not ditch lights. MKT use these boxes for their MU hoses. I'll probably get one and maybe glue it. I don't know, I may not. I'm just talking. But in the prototype photos, you'll see MU hoses plugged into those sometimes. Got our 5-chime horn up here. Firecracker antenna. And here's something that's, I'm not sure if it is specific to MKT, but it is appropriate for these prototypes. The single chime tugboat style rear horn, because they could hit the front horns or the rear horns separately. I guess that was dependent on, I mean, I know the engineer could do it at will, but I guess they used these horns maybe when going backwards or maybe during switching. I'm not sure. If any of you guys were engineers or conductors for MKT, first off, I miss your road. Second, let me know. Let me get you guys zoomed in here where the details get good. A little bit of a gap in some of the body work here. Not a huge deal. We've got our separately applied green brake handle here. Looks like we have a warning plate or something, probably instructions that are, I cannot even read them under 3 times magnification, which is what we're at here. EMD builder's plate. truck detail is pretty good. Sand filler hatch. We have our characteristic of Intermountain SD40-2 separately applied grabs there on the short hood and on the front there. The yellow and black handrails are correct. It varies from prototype to prototype, but I have seen green and I have seen black walkways and treads and stuff, and this part here will also sometimes be black. That's the way 604 is. I don't recall any of them having a beacon, but again, I haven't really looked that much. Our separately applied grills there, our fans, exhaust stack, not very deep or detailed, but that's okay. In the camera, it looks like there's paint missing right here, but that's just reflection because I don't see it in real life. Again, we have our separately applied, I'm guessing photo etch, radiator grills back here, as well as our dynamic brakes. Lift rings look like they're molded in N scale. I can't really fault anyone for doing that. Number boards look great. MKT did use the white background and black numbers. Our details here, separately applied wipers, warning labels, our fuel tank detail. Looks good despite my greasy paw prints. We have our shut off right here, fuel filler, our fuel level, basic air tank and fuel tank details overall. The trucks are pretty basic looking, but there's some decent-ish details. See, there's no spare couplers or anything hanging, but we do have our brake cylinders. Get our pokey in here and get rid of our foam. There she is. That's Missouri, Kansas, Texas right there. Beautiful. Stanchions and handrails very firm. It amazes me how firm that these manufacturers can get plastic this thin. And again, beautifully separately applied. Grabs, our rear sand filler hatch, light package, rear number boards, light blanks on the rear here as well as on the front. I forgot to point out here and here. MKT did not use any short hood mounted lights on their SDs that I know of. They were all up here on the top of the cab. And again, we have our, I call them blanked out ditch lights, even though they're MU boxes, because they're in the exact same spot you would put ditch lights. Our coupler cut levers, not as pronounced as with the others because they're black, so they're blending in. Separately applied ends with a molded in center bar here. Our pilot detail isn't fantastic. Our coupler doesn't move very freely, but I don't think it's stiff to the point where it would cause any trouble in switching ops. I don't have an NMRA coupler height gauge. I keep forgetting to buy one. If someone has one that they'd like to send me, I would be happy to pay you for it. Or if you'd like to make a donation and be the first one to make a donation to the to what we're doing here on YouSawItOnline, we certainly enjoy that. We also have a Patreon that currently has 0 funders. I've spent more money this week than I really want to admit on this stuff. So, long story short, beautiful representation of a 80s, probably late 70s as well, MKT SD40-2. What do you guys say I quit talking and we get this over onto the switching layout? Hopefully find out what she does, and hopefully she doesn't do anything that we don't want. I'll see you over there. Alright guys, we're over here on the Inglenook switching layout, which was built by Steve's Trains. Go view his channel and his website if you haven't. That man can build a layout, let me tell you, and he can whip it out quick. That's one thing that always amazes me, guys. These guys that are really good at what they do, I think, just blow the stuff out so fast, and it's like a magic trick, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's this almost photorealistic looking scene. And Steve can do that in N scale. He's shaking dirt and crap all over the stuff, and then poof, before you realize it, it looks like a place you've been, you know? It's crazy. He's very good. Go see his channel. So, we're on our switching layout. I have put our unit here. I've got it hooked up to our DCC++ EX setup. I apologize for the mess, guys. This is being filmed right after the Kansas City Southern unit, and I've been a slob today. So let's connect up our SRCP client on our phone. Turn on track power. Already got number boards and headlights. Right, I'm assuming this is on default 3. So let's turn those off and on with F0. That seems to work. F1. Definitely our bell. Here's our horn. Sounds great. Anything on F3? Sounds like opening a coupler. F4, nothing, but that could be dynamic brake, and that may require us moving. F5, also nothing. F6, F7, also nothing. One of these days, guys, I'm actually going to read the instructions and find out what all the functions are mapped to. F8 should start our prime mover. I hear the fuel pump, prime. There's that characteristic 16-cylinder, supercharged, turbocharged EMD. I say turbo supercharged because the turbo is gear driven when at low RPM, and that's why it makes that yin 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 sound, for those of you who don't know. Let's see, anything on F9? No, F10. F10 sounded like releasing the brakes, the air brakes. There's our air compressor. Here are spitter valves. Has anyone seen a blinking beacon yet? I don't even know if that's a thing. Let me see if our lighting is directional. It is. Alright, let's rev her up. F9 is probably, let's enable that and see if that's a drive hold. It is. So it looks like F4 and F5 are notch up and notch down. All right, well, let's make her move. Turn off drive hold. Well, let's see if it skips in the same spot that my Kansas City Southern unit skipped on. Oh, a little stuttery already. May need to clean the wheels and stuff. Definitely stuttering. I have heard that sometimes the break-in period will cure some of these issues, so since it's brand new, I'm probably going to have to run it through a little break-in session. If not, I may just need to give my track and the pickups and stuff on this a cleaning, because there may be leftover remnants of assembly lube and stuff like that, so who knows. Honestly, I'm not incredibly happy about that. I realize that in HO scale it's not as big of a deal because there's enough room in the shell for a keep alive capacitor. There are ways to do that in N scale, but it doesn't always work out. So yeah, kind of I'm going to reserve judgment on this for right now because it probably just needs to be broken in, but I'll do that and then I'll follow up with a comment once I know more. So with that, guys, I want to thank you for joining me on a product review of a Intermountain SD40-2 with Loksound in MKT green and yellow, as we love, and I will catch you on the next one. Stay safe.